What's up, it's JC. Time to talk about the next coming gen. And we got to talk about expectations because expectations are set high for many, many people. But what can we realistically expect in the next coming years? Because we obviously know that when it comes to many next gen consoles, it takes at least, what, 3 years for them to really start having games that define the console. But even still, we're gonna expect a lot of great things way before a 3 year mark, because every console maker is jumping into next gen now, so it's gonna be full on competitive. It's not just the Wii U anymore. And even then, once PS4 and Xbox One get here, Wii U's gonna have to step it up as well. So we're gonna see pretty damn good generation. And if there's any indication of this past generation, uh, the generations seem to be getting a little bit longer, so you're going to need to pull out all the stops every single time. But what can we truly expect? Obviously, for one, a nice new shiny coat of paint, and what I mean by that is graphically things are going to look better. You're going to have better draw distances, you're going to have better detail, finer detail, and that's obvious. That's a given. That happens every generation. Higher polygon count, you know that you know that's a given. But what is not necessarily a given that we want, and this is open for discussion. That's why I want to hear about it in the comment section. But as far as I'm concerned, what I really look for, I feel as though the older you get, the more refined your tastes are, and that's for anything, whether it's music, movies, television, gaming. Okay, so when I was, what, 6, or maybe even in the PS1 days when I was, a preteen or whatever, I still enjoyed so many different genres, even, the little genres that I wouldn't enjoy nowadays. But now, it has to have some type of substance, whether it's two out of three. It has to have two out of three things: great graphics, gameplay, story. If it has at least two of those, I can mess with it. If it has all three, I it's considered a great game to me. But the storyline is something that you're not really seeing as much of anymore as generations pass. You do see it in certain games like The Last of Us, the Uncharted series, Halo. Even some people, you complain about Halo story if you want. I think it's pretty damn good for a shooter. But there's a lot of different games with different storylines, and a good story cannot be replaced in any form of entertainment, whether it's music, movies, gaming. There's nothing that beats a good story to me. Okay, yes, you have your Call of Duties, yes, you have your Battlefields where some games you just want to hop right online and play, and that's fine. But I think this generation, and by this generation I mean PS3, Xbox 360, and Nintendo Wii, I think we were starting to lose the story part of in many games, because this was the first time where by far and large gamers were starting to get online and play online gaming, which is something a lot of PS2 gamers didn't really do because they never bought the attachment, and it was never really stressed online other than like SOCOM games and whatnot. So online was a lot of fun for gamers this generation, and it was something new. And online is not going anywhere, and I'm not saying I want it to go anywhere, but the story mode needs to be emphasized on a lot more in a lot different games. That is something that got me to consider myself as a gamer, playing Final Fantasy VII and the original Metal Gear Solid, and games like Legend of Dragoon. You know, even Super Mario, where you had to save the princess. It was very basic story, and that's going back to like when I was like 8 or 7 or whatever. But it was still a story behind what you are doing. There's a story behind your actions, you know, which gradually evolved with time. But that's a big aspect that is starting to become, thinner and thinner in AAA, or what the media considers AAA titles. So look at Beyond Two Souls, for example. That's heavily story driven, and I haven't played it yet, and a lot of people have issues with it. But you know, story driven games, they make the world go round. To me, I need more of that. But if we're looking at gameplay mechanics, something a little more evolutionary. I'm not expecting revolutionary per se, not in the first couple years, because obviously we'll be looking at sequels for the first couple years, because a lot of these developers want to make sure that they're getting their money, and they're trying to make sure that you're jumping ship to next generation games. So that's why we're going to see Killzone Shadowfall, the next Halo, sooner or later. That's why we're going to see the infamous Second Son. They're creating sequels so that it's a brand name that's already established, so that you're gonna be more likely to upgrade sooner, which is nothing wrong with that. I'm looking forward to every single game that I've listed, because I do intend to get all of the next gen consoles sooner or later. Some sooner than later, but there's nothing wrong with the sequels. It's just that we're gonna have to start seeing some new IPs soon. And it seems with every passing generation, new IPs seem to be a lot more far and wide. For Ubisoft, for example, or Ubisoft, however the hell you want to pronounce it. Different people pronounce it different ways, but I noticed they create one tried and true new IP every single generation. So if we want to go back to this generation, their biggest new IP is Assassin's Creed. And, it's a great IP, but then they start to milk it to death. And I have a feeling they're going to do that with Watch Dogs. And yes, I'm looking forward to Watch Dogs, but I have a feeling they're going to milk it after, they get their success from their first iteration. They're just going to keep on making them. That's what they do, but at least they're bringing a new IP to the table. And they re-brought back Rayman. I know Rayman's old as hell from like PS1 days, but they brought it back, and it's better than ever, because I hated the PS1 Rayman, and I love the new ones. But just things like that, if you wanna bring sequels after a new IP, that's fine. Who doesn't want sequels? But at least bring us some new IPs first, so that we can say there's a particular reason why we are buying these next generation consoles. Yes, a new next gen GTA is gonna be great. Next gen The Last of Us will be amazing if we get one. Next gen Uncharted, next gen Halo, next gen Final Fantasy. Never mind. Unless they can bring that back to its former glory, never mind. Next gen Kingdom Hearts, but I want all these next gen games, but it's the new IPs that drive the market forward, and that keeps it from getting stagnant. So that's why it's a big necessity, and that's why I'm looking forward to new IPs that drive gameplay mechanics forward. Look at Knack, for example. It's a platformer, and I'm not saying that's gonna push units per se any more than Shadowfall will, because a lot of people are buying the PS4 for Shadowfall. But if you're looking at Knack, Knack looks to be pretty damn good as far as platformers are concerned, but it's also like a fighter somewhat. From what I'm seeing, I haven't played it, but look at Knack, for example, the character model. Sometimes he looks huge, sometimes he looks small, and depending on if he's big or small, he may be a lot more vulnerable and susceptible to dying a lot easier. When he gets hit, he gets smaller. It's just, particle effects and graphical effects. It looks pretty cool. But things like that, those are little subtle things, but it makes the difference, a world of difference in your gameplay video and your gameplay mechanics. And I say video because we can only watch it for now. We can't actually play it. But these are just small things that I'm hoping for. New IPs, fresh paint of coat, fresh coat of paint, I mean. Just things like that is uh, better stories, more storytelling, it, just different ways to keep evolving this medium of entertainment until people finally truly consider it to be a valid form of art, which a lot of gamers consider it already, but the rest of the world maybe not so much, but it's getting there. But if I'm asking you guys, what is it that you're looking for? I already listed my top three. Graphics are a given, and that's already pretty evident, and it's going to only continue to get better graphically. But my second and third is more storytelling, better storytelling, and better gameplay mechanics, more intuitive gameplay mechanics. We do have touchpads and whatnot nowadays, so let's utilize them properly. But if I'm asking you guys, let me know. What is it that you're looking forward to next generation? Not necessarily the titles that you're looking forward to, but the different things that's to come through gaming. Just let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, please hit that like, comment, and subscribe button. Hit the like button, comment, and then please hit the subscribe button. And I'm going to keep them coming. Alright? I'm going to let you guys finish up watching the video. Appreciate your time. JC out.
I thought you didn't like labels!